Okay, Algebra 2. Today we're going to review or look at trinomial factoring. So those are the equations that are in the form, or expressions that are in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. And we're going to show you what's called the AC method of factoring. Okay. All right, to begin with, AC literally means A times C. So when I look at this trinomial expression right here, the A is always the number that's in front of x squared. So here's your A. So that's that imaginary 1. Here's the B, negative 9. Here's the C, negative 36. So what I'm saying is this. We're going to take this trinomial and we're going to break it up into 4 terms. We're going to break up into 4 terms so that we'll be able to do a split down the middle and do a GCF and a GCF. So it's broken down to literally GCF, GCF, GCF. So I'm going to show you what I mean by all that. So to begin with, we need to know what to break down the 9 to come up with the 4 terms. And that's why we talk about this A times C. So our A times C is 1 times negative 36. So 1 times negative 36, which is negative 36. All right, now, so what does this mean? And I wrote some stuff out over here. If my A times C is a positive value, then that tells us that our signs have to be the same, because a negative times a negative or a positive times a positive, they're positive values. So that means we're going to add to the B value. So we're looking for factors of 36. That's what we're talking about. So now, if the A times C is negative, signs are different. That means we're going to subtract to the B value. Remember, a positive times a negative is a negative result. Signs are different. All right, so what do I do now? So right now, I need to find all my factors of 36. So if you want to start listing every single factor of 36, you can, and we can do that. So 1 in 36, 2 in 18, 3 in 12, 4 in 9, and then 6. Okay, so here's all of our factors of 36. Now, if you just knew right away what our factors would be, then we don't have to do the entire list. Okay, but the hardest part about factoring is knowing your multiplications to figure out your factors. Okay, so our A times C is a negative number. Okay, it's a negative number. So A times C is negative. Our signs have to be different. We're going to subtract to the B value. Well, my B value is negative 9. Right now, I'm telling you, I ignore the negative. I have to subtract and get a 9. So which one of these numbers can subtract and give me a 9? That's right, 3 and a 12. Well, in order for 3 and 12 to subtract to be a negative 9, the 3 has to be positive and the 12 has to be negative. So 3 minus 12 gives us a negative 9. All right, so now what do I do with that? It is these two numbers right here, the 3 and the negative 12, that I break up the 9x with. So this is what I write. X squared minus, actually I'm going to put plus. The order in which you write these two down does not matter. You could put the plus 3 first or the minus 12 first. Close your eyes, it does not matter. So I'm going to put the plus 3 first. So plus 3x minus 12x minus 36. So all we did was took the negative 9x and we broke it up into those two pieces right there. If I combine them, I just get back up to there. It doesn't do me any good. Now all I have to do is the split down the middle. And I literally look at this side right here and I say to myself, what is the greatest common factor? What is it? X. That's right. So I factor out an x, and on the inside we have an x plus 3. And then we say to ourselves the same thing on the other side, on the right-hand side. What is the greatest common factor? We have to factor out a negative. It has to be a negative number that we've... Because 12 is negative, we have to factor out a negative value. If 12 was positive, we'd be factoring out a positive value. I wanted to do the negative first. So 12 goes into both of these. You need the greatest common factor, not the smallest factor. You need the greatest common factor. So we're going to factor out a negative 12. And then I have on the inside x plus 36. X plus 3. Why did I say x plus 36? Goodness. There. All right. Now, if you do this method correctly, these two terms will be exactly the same. So if you can get this one correct, you will automatically know what goes inside here. All right, now, what's next? So I remember I said GCF, GCF. We have one more round of factoring to do. You have to see this as one big giant multiplication. This is one big giant multiplication. What do these two pieces have in common? That's right, they have an x plus 3 in common. So I literally factor out an x plus 3, and we're left with on the inside the x and the negative 12. So we just factored this trinomial. All right, let's look at number 2. Let's do the same thing. We'll do the AC method. All right, so here we go. There's the 1 in front there. So here's our A, our B, our C. So we have an A times C. So we have a 1 times negative 40, which is negative 40. So I need all the factors of negative 40. Well, that's a 1 and a 40, 2 and a 20, 3 doesn't work, 4 and 10, and 5 and 8. All right, the 40 is negative, so our A times C is negative. Signs are different. Subtract to the B value. Like I said, I'm ignoring the sign. We have to subtract and get 6. Well, what's the only one here that subtraction gives us 6? That's right, 4 and a 10. 6 is positive, so that means the 10 is the positive, the 4 is the negative. Okay. So here we go. We're going to take 6x and we're going to break it up into those two pieces. So I'm going to write x squared first. Then I'm going to put, again, close your eyes and write down whatever one you want to write down first. It does not matter. If you want to factor with a negative number, you put the negative number last. If you don't want to factor with a negative number, we put down the plus 10 for last. So I'm going to put negative 4x plus 10x minus 40. And now here's our split down the middle. Okay, so just like we did up here, these two numbers make 6x. All right, now all we have to say is, okay, what are those? What's the GCF over here? That's right, a GCF of x. They have an x in common. So then we have x minus 4. Over here, what's the GCF? Good, 10. So plus 10. Then we have x minus 4. Notice these two are exactly the same. Okay? As you get good, you can start to pick up some shortcuts for yourself. All right, so now, remember our last step of factoring. What does this product and this product have in common? That's right, they have the x minus 4 in common. So x minus 4 would be on the outside, and then on the inside of your parentheses, you would have an x, and then a plus 10. And we just factored. Okay. Now, here's the thing. As long as there's a 1 in front of the x squared, we don't technically have to do this AC technique. But if you ever look this up in a textbook, this is how they show factoring. Okay? You should, as long as there's a 1 in front of the x squared, you should be able to look at the last number and say, oh, I need factors of 40 that will make 6. Okay, up here. I need factors of 36 that will make a 9. All right, I need factors of 36 that make 15. Okay, but you always have to be careful because the signs play a major role in how we decide our numbers. Okay, so I'm going to do this one the long way, the AC way. So our A times C. So our A times C is a 1 times 36, so that gives us 36. So I need all the factors of 36. 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and then 6. All right, A times C is positive, so that's up here. A times C is positive. The signs are the same. We're going to add to the middle value. So our middle is a negative 15. Again, ignore the sign. The signs have to be the same. We got to add to a 15. So which one of these add to 15? Right, only 3 and 12. But the signs have to be the same. In order to make it a negative 15, they both have to be negative. So now we're going to take that negative 15 and break it up into a negative 3 and a negative 12. Again, whatever one you want to write down first does not matter. So I'm going to put down my x squared minus 3x minus 12x plus 36. Okay, so negative 15x was broken down to those two pieces. All right, now I'm ready to do my split. What's the GCF? X. Very good. X minus 3 is on the inside. If you feel confident about this x minus 3, you know that goes over here. X minus 3. Now here's a shortcut. How many times does negative 3 go into 36? What's 36 divided by negative 3? That's right, negative 12. Why did I put 13? Negative 12. There you go. So our factors are, here's your two parentheses. We have our, what's the GCF here? Those two are in common. And then we're left with an x and a minus 12. So we just factored. Okay. Oh, and again, so the AC technique is not necessarily needed when we have a 1 in front. Okay? We're going to do some more AC now when we don't have a 1 in front. All right. Here we go. Here's my next round. And what I did is I wrote down those rules, the A times C being positive and negative and stuff like that, so we can have it on our paper. All right, first one, number 4. Here's your A, B, C. Now they get a little bit harder because we have numbers in front of the x squared. All right, so A times C. So our A times C is 2 times a negative 30. That's negative 60. So I need all the factors of negative 60. I just say 60. Ignore the negative sign. I need all the factors of 60. So we have 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20. 4 goes into 60. Yes, 15. 5 times 12, 6 and 10, and that's it. So now, which one of these factors All right. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. What do we got? Negative 60. A times C is negative. Signs are different. Subtract to the B value. So which one of these factors subtract and give us 17? That's right, 3 and 20. All right, now I need a positive 17. So that means the 3 is a negative number. All right. So we're going to break 17 into those two values. Which one do you want me to write first? You want me to put the negative 3 first? All right, fine, I'll put the negative 3 first. Negative 3x and a plus 20x. And I got to write everything else out. So I have my 2x squared minus 3x plus 20x minus 30. Now I'm going to do the split down the middle. All right. What's the GCF here? That's right. The only thing they have in common is just an x. So it's x on the outside. And remember, you're literally dividing by x. So you're left with a 2x minus 3. All right. So if you're confident with this, you know 2x minus 3 goes over here. And I'm going to use that little shortcut again. Negative 30 divided by negative 3 is what? That's right, it's 10. What's the greatest common factor between a 20 and a 30? That's right, it's 10. So plus 10. If you can get down to here, you guys are done. So there's one of your parentheses. And then here's your other parentheses. Here's the other parentheses. 2x minus 3. You are all done factoring. Like I said, factoring's easy when you know your multiplication tables. All right. Here's your A, B, C. All right, A times C. So your A times C is 5 times a negative 14. That is a negative 70. Oh, my Lord, these numbers are getting big. All right, no big deal. Let's start off small. 1 times 70. 2 and 35. 3 does not work for 70. 4 does not go into 70. 5 goes into 70. 5 times 14. 6 doesn't work. 7 times 10, and that's it. Okay. So we got all of our factors. Now, what's this? Your A times C is negative. So then what do we know? That's right. A times C is negative. We have to subtract to the B value. So I need factors of 70 that will subtract and give me 33. There you go. That's right, 2 and 35. Now it just has to be a negative, so that means the 2 is the positive, 35 is the negative. By the way, which one do you want me to put first? You want me to put the 2 first, or you want me to put the 35 first? All right, I'll put the 35 first. So I have... So the negative 33 is going to be broken up into a negative 35x plus 2x. And let me write out everything else. So there's that. Now I'm going to put the rest. And then I'll let you see that. And here's our split. All right. Uh-oh. What's the GCF here? You got a lot to look at. There's a 5 involved in front. Does 5 work for 35? Yes. And then also, what about the x's? So our GCF is 5x. And then on the inside, we have, right, just plain old x minus 5 goes into 35. That's right, 7 times. So what did I say? That's right. If this is correct, if you're confident about this, then over here is definitely an x minus 7. Now what's our shortcut? That's right. Negative 14 divided by negative 7 is just a plain old positive 2. You can even see it in front here. 2 divided by 1 is 2. We're all done factoring. We got the hard stuff done. There's your parenthesis. There's one parenthesis with the little squigglies underneath it. And then the other parentheses is x minus 7. Remember what you're doing here is you did GCF one more time. This is one big giant multiplication. This is one big giant multiplication. They have the x minus 7 in common. Okay? They have the x minus 7 in common. So then we factor it out as a GCF, and we're left with a plus 2, and a 5x. Okay, for your factors. Okay. All right, the last one. All right, here's your A, there's your C, that's right. So we have 6 times 4 for the AC, which is 24. Okay, all your factors are 24. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And we have them all. By the way, you know how come I know we have them all? What's the square root of 24? You should give me a rough estimate about the square root of 24. Is it 5? No, because 5 times 5 is 25. So it's less than 5. So then, therefore, the square root of 24 is like 4 point something, something, something. Well, there we already hit the 4. So it's in between the 4 and 6 here. Okay? 70. The square root of 70. Well, it's a little bit more than 8, but certainly less than 9. Well, so 8 point something something is in between 7 and 10. Okay? Square root of 60. Okay, it's more than 7. 7 times 7 is 49, but less than 8. So 7 is in between 6 and 10. Okay? Alrighty. I digressed. Alright, let's knock this one out. Alright, your A times C is positive. Well, what category is that? That's right, it's right here. A times C is positive. The signs are the same. Okay, same signs. We're going to add to the B value. So which one of these will add to the B? Add to an 11. Right, 3 and an 8. It's negative, so then what do we know about them? That's right, they're both going to be a negative. So negative and a negative. All right, which one are we going to put first? All right, I'll put the 3 first. So negative 3x minus 8x, and then I'll write the rest. There. All right, here's my splits. All right, what's the GCF here? That what goes into everything here. There's certainly an x and a 3. So we have a 3x. Hank darn phone. Okay, so you guys will have fun with that on the video. All right, so we have 2x minus 1. Then over here, what's the GCF? Or do your little trick. You know it has to be 2x minus 1. Oh, that's not... How many times is 4 divided by negative 1 is? That's right, negative 4. And now we're done. So we have 3x minus 4, and we have a 2x minus 1. Because of our GCF. Here it is right here. What's the GCF here? 2x minus 1. So here's your 2x minus 1. And then here is the -4, and there's the 3x. So we're all set. All right, so that was our AC technique of factoring. And the phone ringing twice.